Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GLOBIS Stories podcast. I am your host, W. Tanner Kirk, and today I am joined by current GLOBIS student Arnash Gupta. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
I was saying, you come highly requested as a guest on the podcast, so we're very excited to have you here.
Very honored to hear that, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And although you're currently studying the GLOBIS MBA, you've been working in Japan for 18 years?
Yes.
18 years. So where are you from originally?
So originally from India. My hometown is Kolkata, Calcutta.
Okay.
How I came to Japan? Well, 2007, I was working with IBM. Then I went to Denmark for some business trip, and I was there for a few months, and I loved the country.
Okay.
I mean, it's always like one of the happiest countries in the world and all. I mean, there's a reason, and I really love the country. And I wanted to stay there long. But then what happened, my brother and his family, they were in Japan. And he was working with Lehman Brothers before bankruptcy. So he introduced my CV and lots of rounds of interviews, and I got selected. And I didn't really come to Japan because I liked Denmark so much. So when at the final round, of course, they say how much you want.
Right.
So I kind of told a figure per my calculation by which I thought that they would turn me down.
Sure.
Only once in my entire life they said that X, how about X plus Y? I mean, well, that's before bankruptcy, so I couldn't say, I couldn't say no. So
Gotcha.
I came to Japan.
Okay.
And I don't know how, 18 years passed by.
Yeah,
That's
it goes
my
by
second
though.
home. Well, my home actually right now.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So we start in Calcutta, then we do a little stint in Denmark, and then come to Japan.
Right.
Incredible. So did you do your undergrad? I'm assuming you did your undergrad in India?
Yes.
What did you study in undergrad?
Computer science engineering.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right on. What was it like coming to Tokyo 18 years ago?
Very different than now. For me, in a way, I was lucky because my brother and his family was here. So almost my home was there as well. But 18 years
Sure.
back, I mean, very different, like the language problem. And of course, no Google Translate.
Right.
A huge
That's what I was
difference
thinking.
with a
Yeah.
dictionary on hand.
Google Maps.
Yes,
Yeah.
Google Maps and everything. Very, very, very different.
Yeah.
But interestingly also, I faced numerous situations. I didn't really speak Japanese then. When I asked someone like how to go in English, so the person came with me, tried to do his best, even though he was running in the opposite direction, took me to another part of the station. And that was the amazing memories I had, like those years, and those made me like, where am I?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. The hospitality.
yes.
Yeah, I feel like it must feel like things have changed so much. I mean, I guess that was like the flip phone era.
Right.
Yeah. I have to say, I came to Japan 9 years ago, and Google Maps and Google Translate obviously was so essential to my day-to-day life.
Right.
Even still, I've become so reliant on having Google Maps. It gives me anxiety. My palms are sweating, honestly, just thinking about trying to get around Tokyo, especially if you have no Japanese knowledge at all. That must have been really intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very different. Very different.
But you said your brother lived here?
Yes.
Still lives here?
Yes. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was here for 18 years. He moved to India a few years back. So yeah, it was perfect, really welcome for me as well here.
So did he speak Japanese when you first moved to Japan?
Yeah, my brother was here for a while. By that time, he was speaking Japanese. So I also realized how much I was dependent on him on small things, to use my Japanese when I wanted to do something. So yeah, very different.
Yeah, you said you remember getting somebody helping you with directions and being really accommodating. Do you have any big culture shock moments you remember from around when you first moved that made you really feel whoa, I am somewhere completely different?
Yeah, well, to be honest, everything. I still think that even in those things, I think, well, 18 years back or now, I think they didn't really change. When my friends coming from various parts of the world, they're coming here to visit, everybody thinks this is where is this place? This is out of the world. I don't think you
Yeah.
can compare any other country. Like people are leaving like, purses, phones, laptops everywhere,
Yeah.
and coming to your home without just few calls. You don't do anything. It's impossible to even think
Yeah. I totally know
in
what
any,
you
any other
mean.
country.
Yeah.
So very different.
Yeah, it's such an interesting journey. But then do you feel like you've changed a lot since living in Japan?
Oh yes, very much. I could see those changes. Like now, of course, like 20 years back when I was talking a bit loudly, or like in this manner, when people were looking at me, I was feeling like why or what. Now
Sure.
I do exactly the opposite. When people are too loud or trying to argue too much, all these kind of things, I look at them like this. So, in fact, I think even I say thank you in the phone and by bowing, I have realized that recently. So, when I'm talking the phone, I'm bowing and all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the most recent time I went home for a visit, my mom pointed out to me that I was doing a lot of head bowing when I was talking to people. Yeah. I feel like I actually get more culture shock now going back home to visit in
Right,
America. Like you
exactly.
said, it's very overwhelming because everyone is so loud and
Exactly.
yeah, people don't line up nicely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even last time when I went to my hometown, when I was paying money to my cab drivers or someone, I was like saying thank you the way you say here. People are looking at me like this. You're paying money. Why you say thank you?
Yeah, what's with this guy? Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost like what do you want from me? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
funny.
weird.
Yeah, it's amazing what can happen when people just look out for each other, you know? We were talking a little bit before we started rolling just about language learning, and you speak 4 languages?
Yes, like 2 Indian languages. My mother tongue Bengali, Hindi, one of the very popular languages, English and Japanese, so 4.
When you first moved to Japan, 0 Japanese.
Almost 0
Almost
Japanese.
0.
Yeah.
I was basically the same way. I did hiragana flashcards, and I felt like I'm ready to go. I'm prepared.
Right.
But for people listening and watching, I think most people, like I had mentioned, are interested in either coming to Japan or working abroad in general. So I would love to hear some advice from you about language acquisition. It doesn't have to be specifically Japanese, but just any advice in general for learning a language, especially if you have aspirations to work abroad.
Right, great. Yeah, I think I do have advice because I have been through this cycle like up and down, up and down. So I think I would like to give like 2 main advices. One is, well, people who are linguists, who love language, is a different thing, different ball game. But most of the people, ordinary people like us, we are not linguists. So for us to learn language, it can never be from just by reading books and all. And on top of that, especially for Japanese, what I personally feel is a very context-based language. So a same word, a same sentence, the way you say, the way you pause, the way you make it up and down, and in the context makes like heaven and hell difference. So in summary, the only or the best way to learn is you have to be in this place where you are kind of forced to absorb like from various angles, various nuances and all. And that's where you learn fast. Like speaking from my examples also, I think I have tried to read from various books and learn Japanese in 3 months. I've tried all these kind of things and nothing worked, and I wasted a lot of time. But then my graph was really high when I actually started to be in this place. I started to force like understand and use language. What I learned in 1 year maybe equal to like what I was trying for like 10 years or 12 years.
Sure.
It's a huge difference. So I think that's very important. And one more thing regarding Japanese, I would like to advise, especially the foreigners. Like normally as a foreigner, we think that kanji is mendokusai. I want to speak Japanese. I don't want to learn kanji. I
Yeah.
did the same mistake many years.
Yeah.
Only much later I realized kanji is actually a tool is a great tool which can speed you up and leverage your Japanese language very fast. I mean, unfortunately, no one really told me that long
Right.
time before. I was like
Right.
always ignoring kanji because, if you understand few things and, few kanjis and how these things work,
Yeah.
your learning becomes way faster. Even if you don't know, but you can still understand what he's trying to say.
Right.
So that's some of typical mistakes what people do, I think.
Yeah, I think I need to hear that. I hate kanji so much. I hate studying kanji, I guess I should say. But I will admit, like, over time, the more that I've learned, suddenly I can read signs, like, out and about. And then you have those moments of, like, oh, that's what it said all these years. You know, I was never able to read that. And it
Right.
really does. Even if you don't know exactly what the word is in Japanese, you can infer
Yes,
the meaning based
exactly.
on the kanjis. Yeah.
Like you don't know the meaning, but just by listening the word, sometimes you can understand, guess the meaning, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Difficult to really explain unless you really face it, but it's really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things too is I can relate to the feeling of being afraid to mess up in front of native speakers. Getting very nervous speaking in Japanese to a Japanese person. You're worried you're going to sound stupid or make a
Right.
bad mistake. But you were in a situation where you had no choice. I've personally found that, like, in any language situation, nobody is going to laugh at you, I feel,
Right.
if you make the mistake. Just putting in the effort to learn and try is a huge sign of respect, I think. And once you can unlock that piece of it as well, I think things start to become a lot easier.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I was actually feeling the same thing. Then I met someone and who is very good in his language trainings and all. So he told me that about language, it's use it or lose it. So if you
Sure.
don't use, you will never learn.
Yeah.
And that's really true.
But yeah, switching gears from language learning, you have a pretty storied career already in Tokyo. But I'm really interested to hear about how you found out about Globis, but also what made you decide it was time to get the MBA.
So, well, I mean, I always wanted to do MBA, especially typical like 4 years after working. So that's one of the main reasons I came to Japan, like, earn some money and prepare for some MBA
So
education.
you had the MBA in mind coming to Japan.
Right.
Gotcha.
I mean, but then 2008, after bankruptcy, 2009 was most difficult to get into any MBA schools that point
Right.
of time.
Yeah.
So then I kind of thought like, oh, not possible, and maybe I left it that time.
Okay.
So then fast forward 5 years back when I turned 40, I thought that, well, life begins at fabulous 40s, and I wanted to see that all my unfulfilled wishes I was trying to think of. So then MBA came as one of them. And I said, oh, wow, MBA right now? So let's check. So I started to check with different people, a lot of people I know, like, is it good or bad, or pros and cons. While doing that, one thing I learned a big lesson in my life that, like people I asked who have never done MBA, I of course didn't get like that positive response. And what I learned from that experience is, someone who has never tasted a chocolate, you should never ask how a chocolate tastes like.
Yeah.
So how would that person know?
I know what you mean, yeah. How do you describe it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But then from the other group, from two particular people, what I heard, it really impacted me. So one from my mentor, who's quite successful here professionally, personally. I know him from a long time. So he told me that knowledge, don't try to judge the knowledge. I mean, the way it will help you, you can never ever calculate or estimate it. That's one. And then I talked to a couple of my friends who were ex-Globis. So both of them, they told me same thing, that Globis is a very practical oriented and very flexible program. Now, well, from me as a mid-career, when you're working, very busy, having a managing family, you have a 5-year-old son, I think the two most important thing what it matters to us is how flexible it is, because you want to manage everything, right? So that was a huge positive response from me. And the second is, well, standing at this mid-career, theoretical knowledge only doesn't excite me that much. I mean, I of course ask like, so what? So what? I mean, as in also MBA, we also learn that, you might have a great plan, but if you cannot implement a business, it doesn't make sense. So similarly, the practical way of learning is very essential, what I thought. So that's what helped me to, get some positive impression that, okay, let's
Right.
start. And then, well, I mean, I started to do like a couple of courses and all. And from there, like a pre-MBA, and there I really loved the subjects and I started.
Okay. Right on. So you did pre-MBA first.
Yes.
Nice. How did you find out about GLOBIS?
My band member and a couple of my friends, they did MBA from GLOBIS. So what the response I heard from them and what I heard response from the others about this practicality, flexibility, that helped me to decide that this is the school I really would like to go for.
Nice. So total word of mouth.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You said you're a band member? You play in a band?
Yes, I do.
That's awesome. What genre do you want to plug your band?
It's a more like fusion rock. I am the
cool.
guitarist.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
the
An
guitarist.
MBA rock band.
Yes.
That's really cool. And I'm curious too, so you took the pre-MBA, and for people that are listening, I think the pre-MBA is kind of a unique situation. Not a lot of MBA programs have something like that. And essentially you can take classes sort of a la carte and then earn credits towards a full-time MBA. So it's kind of like dipping your toes in the water. How did that work for you?
Yeah, there are two main benefits of pre-MBA, which is I think is very unique for this program. The one, as you mentioned, is you can get a feeling before jumping into the MBA program, which is of course intensive. You can get a feeling how the courses are while taking one or two courses. There's also another very important benefit, which is I think for people like busy people, taking like too many courses at one term, it's quite difficult actually.
Sure.
So I think like typically 2 is best, 3 at most, don't go beyond 3, then your learning gets a little bit hampered.
Right.
So now, if you can do this pre-MBA and you can plan ahead, then what you can do is you really can plan things. Like for me, I made like 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, so that once 3 I'm getting tired, then I'm making the course of 2 and again 3. So this flexibility creates a huge impact. The main is like you can learn without burning out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very important. You want to learn, but if you're burned out, you're feeling like, I can't, absorb anymore. There's no point.
Right.
So that's very important of this pre-MBA, I think.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that you were able to utilize it to work for you.
Right, completely.
Yeah.
And of course, big thank you to the student service offices, because of course thank you so much. So initially, I mean, I didn't know, so I wanted to take like 3 or 4 courses, but someone told me that don't take too much. I mean, just take 2 and see how you feel like. And that was a perfect, very good help actually. That really helped me to, set the pace and all.
Yeah, that's an awesome piece of advice. I'm the type of person when I get excited about something, I want to dive in head first and kind of take it all on. But then like you said, that's definitely a recipe for burnout.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, and I think something that I really appreciated that you were talking about earlier as well is that the GLOBIS curriculum is much more practical, and it focuses on how you can apply what you're learning to work in your life really kind of right away, rather than theoretical type of courses. And one of the major parts of our program at GLOBIS is this idea of kokorozashi. Kokorozashi can, I think, mean slightly different things to slightly different people. So I'm always interested to hear, as a current student, what does kokorozashi mean to you? And for the people listening, how does that apply to your business learning at GLOBIS?
Right. So, well, kokorozashi, of course, there are various ways to describe. Probably the easiest way is what your heart wants, what you really want to do, why you are here. around that line. Now, I think the true value of education happens only when it helps you to be in a place where you want to be. I want to be here, I want to go here, I want to become like this. Something which is helping you to go there, that's the real value of education. So that's why I think that this concept of kokorozashi, the way we have like various courses, teaches us like the think inside and all.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. I mean, one of the recent courses I did, like I mean, it was interesting. Like I was talking to myself so much, about verbalizing and all. And my wife was telling me like, what's wrong with you? You're like talking to yourself. But I didn't even realize, but it's so deep that you actually start to talk to yourself, murmur or whatever. And you realize a lot of things which I've never really realized.
Sure.
I mean, it's always like this, the way we say that there are lots of thoughts hovering in our mind. The moment we write it down on paper, we make it more, it becomes like clear.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar thing. You want to do a lot of things, but when you try to make it like more summarized version, try to identify what you want to do, that's where the real realization happens, what we want to do.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. I think it's funny too, because as an employee of GLOBIS, it's a big part of being an employee here too, thinking about your work and what you're doing and how your work can impact other people, but also like self-fulfillment, right? And I think these days especially, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of people aren't sure what they want to do or feel like maybe what they're doing day to day at work isn't impacting society in a greater scale or really making themselves feel fulfilled. But it's not really something that can be handed to you necessarily, right? It's something you have to develop.
Exactly. You have to like think inside completely. That's what we never do. We always, look outside and all. Very, very rarely you actually look inside. It's really rare.
Totally.
Scary, interesting, intense, lot of things when you try to look inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, you literally got to look yourself in the mirror.
Yes,
and think about what you really want.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you have a kokorozashi?
Yes, I do. My kokorozashi is to open an academy teaching MBA, but MBA is not Masters of Business Administration. My MBA is, I think any person in this world, you need like 3 elements to lead a good, smart life. And those 3 elements are M for mind, B for body, and A for association. So think it of like a building, like the first floor is dedicated to M, means like a mind training. So, the more I'm reading about it and practicing myself, I'm getting like a surprise that what a mind training can do, most of the people we don't even know. Like this, various kind of meditation or breathing techniques and all. And mostly we think like, oh, you have to sit for long hours, those, monks and all. No, absolutely not. Just 5 minutes, 6 minutes, enough. It can, and there are lots of many like scientific researches that it can transform your brain matter, shape, size, your, lots of, you won't believe what you will read.
Yeah, totally.
So I think it's very essential to include that as a part of our life. That's about the mind training. The second one, B, stands for body, which is like a physical training, various kinds of training. And it's very important that, every body is different. So what is needed and appropriate for you is not appropriate for the other person. So to know this, it's very important to have the knowledge. And a part of the body training, I personally do martial arts and I love martial arts. I think also the martial arts is included in that part. And I think, well, not in Japan, but in many other countries, safety, unfortunately, is a big concern, is a big matter. So
Sure.
I think if someone knows martial art, it really helps.
Yeah.
And martial art is not only about safety; it's a huge self-discipline. It makes you, like humility, knowing yourself. Lots of things are there. Now the A, which is association, which I think is probably the most interesting part of it, is. I think as I was mentioning that to lead we talk about like smart watch, smart TV, smartphone, but we don't talk about a smart life. I think the smart life is how you make right decisions, make like the good balance of M and B, and make it a part of your life. To give an example, like food, nutrition, there are lots of myths that, to eat healthy, you have to have salads and all this kind of things. Completely wrong. You can have, if you have proper knowledge, you can actually have a very tasty food, which is very healthy too. And me and my wife, we both love about this concept. So we like make different kinds of foods at home, which are very healthy, but very tasty. So again, nutrition or food is just one part of association. There are also many other parts, like even the sleeping good, which I'm trying to do these days, like to learn how to sleep well. So that's why this all totality, I think, if you can follow this cycle, whatever you are, whoever you are, wherever you are, and you can lead a very good, smart, and happy life. So that's my plan. And also, let me take like one step back why this came up.
Yeah.
So, and the way Globis helped me in here is
Please,
when I started to think about my kokorozashi, I realized that there are three elements. One is I should be extremely passionate about the subject. Of course, I'm very passionate about all these things like training, mental training, good food and all these kind of things. I'm quite passionate about these things. The second one, which is much more difficult, was I always wanted to give back to the society.
Yeah.
But the third point is, well, let's be honest, I am not a typical sage or that kind of person that I can I can give away everything that, for the society. No. I also need to have returns because it's a business. I want to run I have commitments, family commitments, all this kind of thing. So there I had my biggest contradiction that how can I give back to the society but also can earn money for myself? So there I came up all these different concepts like impact investments and all these kind of things within Globis, which told me that it's really possible. You can give back to the society. Like I was saying, I don't mind, teaching martial arts to people who really need it. Can be free.
Sure.
It's okay.
Sure.
But then people who can pay, they can pay the subscription and things like that.
Right.
So this cycle that you can give back, but also you can take care of your family. This was a completely new concept for me. And when I could connect all, then everything made sense to me. That, wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome. I really love that. I mean, you're really speaking my language. I'm a huge proponent of mindfulness. I think I'm pretty fortunate. My mom taught me about mindfulness and those types of strategies from a young age that a lot of people don't have access to. A lot of people learn that later in life.
Right?
Extremely powerful.
Right.
And then the physical thing as well. I don't do martial arts, but more recently in my life, I started lifting weights and just being more serious about my physical health. And it's incredible how much it's helped me mentally. Right. And when you feel better physically and mentally, you're able to work on the things that really make you happy. It's amazing how much it changes your life.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really love that idea of like kind of turning. At first, when you said your kokorozashi is to create an MBA, I was like, oh, we're like developing a competitor. But it's cool, I think that's a really incredible idea. I used to work as a cook before I moved to Japan. So I'm also really into the idea of cooking healthy food, and healthy food doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's awesome, man. I think you could really make a huge impact.
Thank you. Hopefully, just to make some very small steps, and let's see.
Yeah, and I mean, for everyone else watching and listening too, I think that's such an inspiring story because I think people can be really cynical about business too, often rightfully so, but like you just said as well, it is possible to create a business that you're passionate about that can support yourself and your family, but also do something positive for your customers or the people around you. I love that story, man. Yeah.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. I think that's what also that helps when and there are like I just joined a couple of conferences which Globis organized. When I'm listening to the people who did that, something very similar also. So that gives you the confidence that it's really possible. It's of course possible. So I think that's also the benefit of Globis, that it's not only about taking one couple of steps back, what I was mentioning, that it's not only about the bookish knowledge and all. I learned way more by meeting people, talking to the students, talking to the teachers, listening from all various conferences which Globis is organizing. Your mind gets like really like this, and wow, this is also possible. I never ever thought of like. That's the power of the real education, what I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's super important too to keep in mind before we wrap up that, like you just said, it's totally possible. And even if you get overwhelmed, taking it one step at a time, but then also realizing anything that you look up to, like any restaurant that you love going to or any movie that you love watching, somebody made that happen, right?
Right.
It doesn't
right.
just materialize out of thin air. So it's completely possible, but you have to put in the work and get the structure. And I think doing something that you really believe in is the most important part, because that's what's going to see you through when things get really tough.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right on, man. I love that story. So wrapping up, we ask every guest on the podcast a kind of corny question, but I think it can be really impactful, a little moment of reflection at the end here. But if you could go back in time, and like we had mentioned before we started rolling, it could be little Arnash, it could be 5-year-old Arnash, or any past Arnash. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
Well, the way I look at it is what we did, what we are doing, and what we will do. It's basically a good handshake, or it comes from two areas. The mind, which is the control center, it's more like a CEO, thinking of all strategy, creativity, all this kind of thing, right, wrong, all these kind of things. And the other is like the heart, which is full of passion, no budget management, no risk management, no boundaries, just go anywhere, do whatever. So I think in my past, I was using the heart a lot more than what should be using. Now, well, to be very honest, I am not really sure that if it's a good or bad, because sometimes, there are, of course, incidents where I'm right now think that I should have been using my brain more than my heart.
Sure.
But also, I think that's what made me passionate, very passionate person.
Yeah.
And I have the history, I learned, and now I have my CEO who's controlling, saying, okay, take this, don't take this, all these kind of things.
Right.
So it's an advice, but I'm also not really sure of that. But what I personally think is it's very important to learn from whatever the mistakes. I don't really would like to say as mistakes, because I think for everybody, we learn most from our mistakes.
Absolutely.
All our highest level of learning
Yep.
comes from our mistakes.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that do mistakes, but if
Sure.
it happens, so learn from it, and that makes you, like what we say, like what doesn't break you makes you stronger. So
Absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. That's something I have to remind myself all the time. Failure isn't the end. It's like a learning experience. And if you stop anytime you mess up, you're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Arnash, thank you so much for coming on. It was a fantastic episode. I love your story. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things go for you post-graduation. And for everybody listening and watching, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And until next time, have a great one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.